welcome to Booktopia.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
What's your definition of clean living?
I guess our definition of clean living is adhering to a diet that's free of anything processed. So free of anything processed, synthetic, refined. And just having a very clean diet adhere to a movement every day. So train every day, work up a sweat. Doesn't have to be for long. Could be 3 or 4 minutes, but working your body, working up a sweat, and just eating clean.
It's the paleo diet, isn't it? So what are the principles of the diet?
Well, I mean, paleo shouldn't scare people off. I think if anything, it should excite people because it simplifies food. You're just basically cutting out anything that's from a packet and anything that's unnatural. I mean, you could say it in terms of like if you could hunt it, catch it, pick it. It's paleo. Now I know that we're not cavemen anymore, and I know that we don't have to fight for our food. But I tell you what, when you go into a supermarket, all you need to do is go to the fresh fruit and veggie section, the nuts and seeds, and the meat. It is simple as that. Not only are you going to cut your supermarket time down in half, but you're going to make life so much easier. Just think about that. Go to the supermarket, fresh fruit, veggies, nuts, seeds, and meat. You're paleo all the way.
Because one of the things that I did like about your diet is that you don't say we can't have fat and we can't have sugar.
Yeah, baby.
So tell us about that.
We're big proponents of we should eat fat. I think there's been a big turnaround recently, and that message is spreading, across the population that fat is actually good for us. Particularly, well, let's get this right. It's saturated fat that's all right for us. There's lots of fats that aren't, that we've, for the last 20, 30 years believed that are good, like polyunsaturated. So our message is to avoid seed oils and plant oils. But go crazy on nut oils and saturated fat. Saturated fat is actually good for you. And the whole cholesterol thing, that's all kind of spinning on its head as well.
And I think it's very important to specify what type of sugars we support. So when we say sugar, we definitely mean low fructose choices. At the moment, there's a massive movement. I mean, with David Gillespie, Sarah Wilson, this whole quitting sugar completely thing. Now, we definitely see benefits in that, but we also see the value in sugar for energy for specific reasons. So what we say to all of our readers out there is pick your sugar wisely. So that's really low fructose options like berries and bananas and stuff like that. But also use it for a reason. Don't just have it for the sake of it. Use it pre or post workout or before you need that burst of energy. Because remember, food is energy. So if you're having sugar for the sake of it, it just gets converted into fat. So make sure you've got a reason for that energy.
Your program is a 3-week program, and 3 weeks is what the brain sort of needs, isn't it, to kind of adjust to a new good habit. But my problem with all of this, whenever I try anything new, is boredom. After 3 weeks, you kind of go, oh.
Nah. See, I you know what? I've done heaps of programs in the past and tried out fad diets myself just to see what the story is. And I guarantee there's enough variety, and I'm not just saying this because we wrote it, but there is so much variety in functional workouts and clean eating that you literally can't go wrong because there's all those recipes in the book for the first book. And then we've got our second book coming out on the 28th of January. And that's a complete 80 plus recipes to go to your repertoire. So I guarantee you will not get bored.
Okay, take your point there, fine. This is all great when you're at home and you are in control of the kitchen. But we are at the height of the Christmas party season right now, when all sorts of things that are not good for us are being sort of offered to us on tantalizing trays and platters. So what's your advice for people when they're out?
If you're out and you know that your choice is going to be compromised, I would probably eat before you go out.
Yep.
Or maybe wait till you get home. Because we've been to heaps of functions over the last 6 months, and you might be hungry and the guy comes around with the platter and you're like, I'll just wait for the next one. The next one comes, it's equally as bad, deep fried, and and invariably we'll just say no. I'd rather go hungry than put something like that in my mouth.
I put enough work into training and being healthy to blow it just for the sake of 1 or 2 bites. Seriously. And that's where I got to get through to people, is that if you make a conscious decision to be paleo or to live well, you've got to prioritise. So yeah, we're going to functions, but what's more important? to you? A few glasses of wine and some crap food, or feeling phenomenal the next day, the next week, the next month? That there is the difference between achieving a goal and never getting there. And you know the type that go to the gym. You see them there week after week, month after month, slogging it out on the treadmill with zero to no result. That's because they have enough of a resolve to get to the gym, but not the whole way to make a commitment. And my belief is, if you truly want to live a clean lifestyle, make a commitment to yourself and you will never regret it, and you'll achieve every goal.
I want to know where you both get your motivation from. What started all of this for you before you became personal trainers, before you were as fit and toned and everything else as you are now? Just take me back 5 years or 10 years when you weren't so kind of hyped up with your message. What started all of this for you?
For me, I've had a long history with training and sport. I was so into sport as a kid, from a very young age, cross-country running and soccer and volleyball and all that. So it's kind of ingrained in me. It's just very natural for me to train. And I guess going back 5 or 10 years ago, I got into being a PT just because I was naturally active, and it seemed a natural gravity to fall into that industry. And I just want to help people. I genuinely want to help people, and I think this is an amazing platform for us to get the message across. And I guess the motivation from here on in is that it's almost like you've tasted the fountain, and you know how good you can feel, and so you don't want to fall off in any way, shape or form. I train hard, and I eat the right things, and the consequence is that you feel fantastic. So I don't want to compromise that. That's my motivation.
What about you, Luke?
A few different reasons. Firstly, I was overweight and not into sport as a kid. So before anyone goes, oh, here's this, guy from Bondi who's looking the goods and stuff.
Who says that?
Everybody. So here's the thing. A lot of people make a judgment call based on me now. And they go, oh yeah, here we go. Healthy food, healthy living. It just comes so easy to him. It doesn't. I've always struggled with my weight. I've always struggled being into sport. I hated it when I was at school, and I had to take hold and go, you know what? I want to live a healthy lifestyle. The other reason is someone close to me and my family has been heavily involved with drugs. Seeing someone waste their life to a drug addiction makes you realise I'm going to make the most of every single moment.
Okay, now we're getting to the nitty gritty.
Oh.
So you mentioned something there that I'm really interested in. You mentioned the experience of watching someone who's addicted to drugs in your family. It seems to me that in a way we are all addicted at the moment, whether it's to sugar or to fat, or the new kind of addiction that's completely legitimate socially, which is coffee. When you see the fact that Australia has gone completely berserk for coffee the way we have, do you feel like grabbing everybody's latte out of their hand and going, stop?
Well, you're talking to a coffee lover, actually. I drink coffee within moderation. I don't think it's the worst thing for you. I think it's about what type of coffee you're having and how much you're having. When I see these people ordering soy, dairy, with sugar, with equals, are they kidding themselves? Coffee traditionally is to be drunk black, okay? Pure. And I don't know why our society has turned it into these frappa, mocha, soy, chino things full of additives and sugar.
Yeah.
We don't need that. That's not how coffee is. Coffee is
far removed.
Yeah, coffee can be a natural stimulant, and it can be used also for training, all different reasons. But these days it's become this fad to sit around and have it for no reason, pack it full of 3 sugars. People are kidding themselves.
Now, you also said something else, Luke, there that I do want to touch on, which is that you said that you had a problem with your weight and that you weren't interested in exercise as a child. And we are rapidly becoming one of the most obese nations on earth, and we have a real problem at the school level. So if you could take this paleo message into schools, or kind of direct it, target it at that very vulnerable but really critical generation, what's the one thing that you would advise parents when it comes to feeding children, or that you would try and tempt children to try a bit more of?
I think education from a really positive angle. You can tell a kid to eat something and be quite authoritarian, or you can explain why a kid should eat something in a really positive, learning type of way. And the best thing is to lead by example. So if you don't make a big deal about it and you just make that a part of the home life, well, you're already one step closer to that child going, yeah, this is all right. Because I don't feel like I'm being forced. No one ever wants to feel like they're being forced to make a change or to eat something. It needs to feel normal. It needs to feel natural. And the sooner the parents get on board, the sooner the child's going to get on board. And you know what? Forget peer pressure at school. Kids these days are strong. They know what they like and they know what they don't like. And if they know that what they're doing at home is really good for them, well, it's going to translate in the schoolyard.
I think it comes down to educating the parents just as much as the kids.
That's what Jamie Oliver discovered.
Yeah, if the parents are packing the lunch boxes, the information and the information's got to get through to the parents, and it's confusing because they go down the aisles in the supermarket, and what's packaged and driven for kids or the parent is on the whole pretty crap.
And convenience.
It's dressed as
But pestle
healthy
power
and
is a very powerful force,
Absolutely.
and that's what advertising is, catering to
Yeah.
or delivering. Let's just stay in those supermarket aisles for a moment, because you said, you redirect yourself, you can skip half the supermarket, just stay in the fresh area. But when you're advocating things like organics, there's a cost factor there. So that's fine for the kind of high-earning demographics that are probably the early adopters of your program anyway. But what are the cost impacts of living this clean living life?
We do promote organic if you can, but it's not the be all and end all.
Yeah.
We'd sooner you get, non-organic, but it's fresh, than, something that's packaged or processed.
Yeah.
We understand that, we're not really in the position to buy organic 100% of the time, but we are, where we can. And probably more important with meat than anything else. Meat and eggs.
Definitely.
Over fruit and veg, I'd say.
And you will save money on wastage. You'll save money on medical bills. I know it all sounds a bit cheesy, but you genuinely will. If you have a healthy family and you are running optimally, doctor's bills are going to be less. You're going to be buying less medication for kids who have reactions
Allergies,
to
sensitivities.
certain foods.
And that's what
allergies.
we've got to think about. Like, it's
Long term.
Yeah, it might be another $3, $4, $5, but the expense at the end of the day is on your health. So it's not much to pay, really.
Okay, so what are your ambitions with this whole program? You're on a bit of a roll with this. There's been a sort of a great enthusiasm for your message. So where next? Where do you want to go?
I think it'd be silly just to say that Australia is the end game, because right now we're nailing it in Australia, and thanks to My Kitchen Rules, that's phenomenal exposure. But we have, I think, that Aussie laid-back nature that I think could tap into the UK and the US and successfully translate our message to a worldwide audience, because obesity, weight loss problems, motivation, self-esteem, that's not just a problem contained within our waters, that is worldwide, and it doesn't have any barriers, financial, socio-economic. It is worldwide, and I think we have the ability to tap into that.
And we also have a duty of care. So, Luke and I have been personal trainers for years, and you can share your message with your clients and your community, your local community. But now, as a result of My Kitchen Rules and our books now, we have a bigger profile and a bigger span, a bigger audience. So we have a duty of care to get that message across and just help as many people as we can.
Yep.
Luke and Scott, thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.